Who is Morgana Le Fay? An otherworldly beauty who uses trickery and sexual wiles to befuddle the minds of chivalrous knights? Is she the sister of King Arthur and the mother of Sir Mordred? Is she the mistress of all evil? Or just a really nice lady who happens to know how to fly and is gifted at healing magic and shapeshifting? Like it or not, almost everyone in the Western world is familiar with King Arthur, his knights, and Morgana Le Fay, at least on a very superficial level. Modern media continues to add its own spin on the characters and stories, and Miss Le Fay is in nearly every rendition, usually as one of the major antagonists. But was she always this way? And if not, why have we come to perceive her as an archetypical scheming witch? In order to answer these questions, let's take a trip through Arthurian literature, from her earliest appearance until the post-Vulgate cycle. We will begin with Geoffrey of Monmouth's Vita Merlini. Written in 1150 CE, 14 years after Geoffrey of Monmouth wrote his first pseudo-history, the history of the kings of Britain, Morgana Le Fay makes her debut. In Vita Merlini, or as it's also known, the Life of Merlin, the Enchantress Morgan, as she is known here, is the head priestess of the island of Avalon, which is also known as the Island of Apples, a mysterious place associated with the Celtic Otherworld. She is the most powerful of her 9 sisters who rule the island, and is the one who accompanies the dying King Arthur on a ferry ride to Avalon for magical healing. And that's it. She's simply a benefactor of Arthur. She's not biologically related to him, she's not evil in any sense of the word. Just a nice, magical lady. Among her powers, she has the ability to shapeshift, alter her age at will, and fly. And since she sprouts wings in order to do so, she is given the moniker Le Fay, which means fairy. Geoffrey of Monmouth is known for being the first person to create a sequential narrative in regards to King Arthur, and thus set the groundwork of the Arthurian legend genre, which has inspired authors throughout the ages when writing their own fanfics on King Arthur and his knights. So, let's see how other authors treat Miss Fay over the course of time. Chretien de Troyes. I can't French, I'm sorry. I'm gonna try it again. Chretien de Troyes is an anonymous French author, their pen name simply meaning a Christian of Troy. Why didn't I just say that? This individual is theorized to have been the inventor of Lancelot. Lancelot is Chretien's OC, do not steal. They originated the Lancelot-Guinevere romance, introduced the Holy Grail quest to Arthurian lore, and basically romancified the stories, focusing on the 12th century concept of chivalry and courtly love. In their stories, Morgan doesn't play an active role, but is mostly only mentioned offhandedly. In the tale of Eric in a Need, Eric is healed at one point by some ointment that was prepared by Morgan Le Fay for Arthur's use. She is also noted as a friend of the Lord of Avalon, so I guess she received a demotion at some point between 1150 and 1170? Freaking middle management, am I right? Aside from that, Chretien states that Morgan is an evil enchantress, is Arthur's sister, and that she learned magic while in a Christian nunnery, and that she later expanded on that knowledge by taking advantage of what a pervo Merlin was being towards her. Oh, Merlin. But anyway, it's mentioned that she's evil at this point, but she hasn't really done anything evil. So let's check out how the Vulgate cycle handles Morgana. Now, the Vulgate cycle, written between 1215 to 1235 CE, is also known as the Lancelot Grail cycle. This is where the Christian themes in Arthurian myth really start to become predominant, because these prose episodes were purportedly written by a group of Cistercian monks in France. Their literary style is to retell the legend by focusing on the quest for the Holy Grail, as well as the romance between Lancelot and Guinevere, which is now seen in a negative light and is the downfall of Arthur's court. Morgan gets a big rewrite at this point, and is painted in an almost purely villainous fashion. This is perhaps unsurprising when you consider that Morgan Le Fay was originally a competent female healer, and a leader among her clan, all concepts that were reviled by the church. As a result, Morgan becomes an untrustworthy and lusty harlot, betraying Guinevere, imprisoning Lancelot when he rejects her advances, and basically just causing mischief. Also as a note, this is where her supposed interest in Lancelot and jealousy towards Guinevere originates. So now we know where that subplot came from. Horny repressed monks.
I've been a bad boy, father.
In the 14th century, the Gawain poet included Morgana Le Fay as an antagonist in their work, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. In this tale, Morgan shares her ability to shapeshift with the knight 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂, and the two play a very elaborate prank on Sir Gawain in the court of Camelot. Not for any particularly devious cause, just to mess with them, I guess. Also, it was hoped that Guinevere would die of fright because screw that. Yahoo! So now we're in the 15th century with an English writer who was knighted and was also a criminal, Sir Thomas Malory. We're not going to get into what a huge hot piping mess he was. We'll possibly save that for another video. But let's give his contribution to the genre a comparison for reference. So, while Geoffrey of Monmouth was the author who created the first sequential narrative for Arthurian lore, which all works up to this point were based on, Thomas Malory's version lays the foundation from which most modern Arthurian works are based off of. So basically, he took all of the romance stories, compiled them, and then put his own spin to them. His book's original title was The Whole Book of King Arthur and of His Noble Knights of the Round Table, but his prison editor made a smart move and changed it to a much more marketable title, La Mort d'Arthur, or The Death of Arthur, which was printed in 1485. In his tale, Morgana Le Fay is an outright antagonist to King Arthur. Morgan is the daughter of 𝒂𝒏𝒂, who was murdered by Uther Pendragon so that he could rape 𝒂𝒏𝒂's wife, Morgan's mother, 𝒂𝒑𝒂𝒏𝒂. Not long after 𝒂𝒑𝒂𝒏𝒂 conceived Arthur, Morgan was then chucked off to a nunnery where she managed to learn necromancy. Man, I guess nunneries used to be metal.
Is it metal to have your drains clogged with dead, rotting employees?
Yeah, it is, actually.
Metal.
She was married off to an old man by the name of Uriens by the time she was between 13 and 16 years of age. She bears him a son called Owain, who later becomes a Knight of the Round Table. Now that we have her backstory, we can begin to understand her shenanigans, which I'll try to summarize here to cut down on time because this is already getting to be way too long. She, understandably, attempts to kill her husband, uses her lover Accolon to help replace Excalibur in its sheath with a Chinese knockoff in an attempt to kill Arthur in a deadly duel so that she and her lover can usurp the throne. Arthur eventually gets his sword back, but she does succeed in stealing the sheath permanently, which prevents Arthur from receiving its magical healing. Then she later pretends to repent by sending Arthur a fancy cloak with jewelry on it, but he tells the messenger to put it on, which causes them to disintegrate, because it was laced with deadly poison. Don't kill the messenger. Oh, never mind. And so on and so on. But it's okay. After years of ghosting, King Arthur and Morgana Le Fay accidentally bump into each other, and she's like, "Oh, sorry for all the murder attempts, bro. I was just bitter that you were the son of the guy who killed my dad and raped our mom, and I was tossed away like trash and married to an old man while you became king of Britain. So it made me want to kill you and your waifu. But I'm over that now." We were such precocious kids, weren't we? Anyways, how you been? And at the end of the story, she serves her original role by guiding Arthur's wounded body to Avalon for healing. It all came full circle. So let's go over everything we've covered up to this point. First, Geoffrey of Monmouth introduced Morgana Le Fay as an otherworldly but benevolent ruler who could fly, shapeshift, and who guided Arthur to the island of Avalon for magical healing. Chretien de Troyes referred to her as an evil enchantress, but maintained that she was mostly a benevolent healer and also the sister of King Arthur. The Vulgate cycle added some duplicity to Morgan for daring to be a 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂 what knows the magics. She lusts after Lancelot and pulls some shady shite on both him and Guinevere, and is the one to reveal their affair to King Arthur. In Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, Morgana Le Fay simply trolls the Knights of the Round Table, specifically Gawain, purely for the lols. Finally, by the 15th century, she is an amalgamate of everything written about her up until this point. She's a villain who seeks revenge on Arthur with several elaborate plots and schemes that cause a fair bit of collateral damage, but also, inevitably, is his healer and benefactor. And from that point on, we get countless other retellings of King Arthur, his knights, and of course, our main queen bee, Morgana Le Fay. I hope you enjoyed learning about Morgana Le Fay's origins and development since the 12th century. In the next video, Why is Morgana Le Fay? We'll go over why Morgana changed so dramatically over the centuries. If you enjoyed this video and would like to be notified of new content, please click the subscribe button, and feel free to leave a like and a comment. This helps to keep the YouTube algorithm from swallowing my videos into the void of nothingness. I'd like to thank my Patreons for their support. Anyone who becomes a patron, even the Dollar Club, gets access to the super secret Discord server, where we can chat about mythology, folklore, media, or puppies or whatever. Patrons can also join in on monthly video chats and get the ability to vote on what videos are made next. On that note, I'd like to give a quick shout out to 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂 for watching the 𝒂𝒏𝒂 so that I could have the free time to work on these vids in the first place. And finally, thanks to all of you for watching. Continue to stay safe in these scary times, my humies. Bye, bee!